So I just feel inspired because this is part of, obviously I just started this channel not too long ago. So it's been something in the works for years, literally. Again, it's all about divine timing, so I never pushed it, but I have had ideas listed to talk about, experiences, things along the way of my own personal journey, things that I've just knowledge collected, right? Knowledge from, you know, other lives I've lived, different whatever, books I've read. The whole point in, to your own spiritual journey and going through it and the whole process is, I do believe, obviously we want to free ourselves. We're coming home to ourself, our true soul, not the ego. You know, shadow work, again, is a very important part of the evolution, the spiritual evolution of this journey that you're on, ultimately to find yourself, okay? So I wanted to do a quick video, just to kind of touch the surface. Let's just say shadow work in itself, it's all different things, but I want to talk about ego versus instinct, aka intuition, but ultimately our primitive instinct, which is our intuition. Like, okay, for example, animals, right, out in the wild, if you really think about it, how does let's say a cat, a wild cat, big cat, right, how do they know how to do things? Like, they're born, no one taught them how to hunt, how to care for their cubs, right? So so there's that, how they survive, right? Just think of it like that. Then you got a domesticated cat. This is where it kind of shows you, how do cats know how to use a litter box, okay? Especially, or how to eat, or, what not to go near when they smell stuff, right? They know what to stay away from and what's okay? If you really think about it, when you go get that kitten, right? It's about 8 weeks old, unless, if you're going to buy a kitten, let's just say. It's typically 8 weeks old, they're allowed to leave the mother. So you go get this cat, right? Now, they haven't been with their mom that long, or the dad, okay? When you get them home, have you ever stopped to think like, wow, the kitten, all I had to do, it sniffed it out one time, it knew where to go pee. The kitten, you start to see it interact, right, with like their practice hunting. I don't know why I'm doing this, but it's the whole, when you watch them play, right, and they go in that attack mode, but then they get real, like, it's like, if you just watch the growth of animals, and cat, let's say, for example, how do they know how to do that? Because you can't really say, oh, well, the mom told them. No, because, at an 8-week-old cat, the mom didn't show it all that, It's the instinct. It's the natural, primitive instinct, what is in that cat's DNA. Cats listen to their intuition, to their primitive instinct, right? Their first thought, it's like they just do. They know. Because that's what it is. It knows what it is. Its soul knows what it is, what to do, without having to be told. Because technically, I think animals are definitely more tapped in than most humans, They just know, because it's instinct. Now, we as humans have an ego, right? Cats don't have an ego, luckily. But so ego versus instinct, intuition. Pretty much your ego is designed, okay? And if you look at it this way, let's just say, like, where we all picked out a character, a vehicle, a vessel, right? Let's say you're on a game and you're picking your character, right? And then you're building the outfit, which you want it to wear. You also design its personality, okay? So your character now has a built-in personality, ego, okay? The ego's personality, it's all designed, right, to trigger you, to oppose you. You know, we come down here and, you know, the veil, I think of it, it's a veil of amnesia. You know, it's designed that we purposely were supposed to forget, you know, who we really are, because the whole point of each lifetimes is discovering who we really are. We all came down here to participate and play in the game, okay? I truly believe, you know, we all picked out our parents, pre-planned our life, pre-planned interactions of specific people and relationships that we were supposed to meet, challenges we wanted to overcome. We came here to go through struggles, experience pain, setbacks, yada, whatever. Because up in, you know, who our soul really is, right? It is all pure love. You don't experience the darker aspect, okay? So here, you can. That's the point of it. So ego is really something that you need to ultimately shut down, okay? Take off the false mask. You want to trade faces. You want to take off that mask, okay? And put on your real, well, not a mask, I guess that's a bad way to look at it, but your real face, your real soul's face. If it had a face, right? You want to express who you really are. Your ego's designed, okay? It's a fear-based personality. It is designed to think in fear, okay? So the ego thinks it's helping you out, but really it's harming your growth instead of protecting you. So when you work in it, you're constantly opposing each other. Your intuition, your instincts telling you one thing, but then your ego is screaming over here like, hey, no, don't do that. That's too scary. Or, oh God, what will people think? Don't try that. We need to be safe. We need to follow these rules because that's what we were told to do, right? It is all fear-based, okay? So it's, you know, the other thing I had written here, the ego, by using its fear-based programming, you know, it goes into attack mode or shutdown, suppressing mode. Yeah, suppressing mode, which is suppressing emotions, shutting down, okay? It either gets you, the ego, right? The ego gets real defensive, you know? So it'll make you, you know, if you're still in that lower vibe, you get offended real easy. So you feel like you gotta attack the person back. Like, oh yeah, well you said that to me? Well, okay, I'm gonna say this to you. Okay, so it either attacks or it suppresses emotions. Or a little bit of both, you know? Then, since, you know, if you're running more in your ego, you know, in the fear-based mentality, okay, you are using escape mechanisms. You're using all sorts of escape mechanisms. I cannot talk today, but seriously, please disregard whatever. You know, you're using escape mechanisms that you learned at a young age, and it's because it's part of the personality, and those are ways that you learn to cope, okay? Escape mechanisms. It was a coping mechanism. The biggest thing, and a big part of shadow work, is facing yourself, your ego, head on. And I can't say this enough. I think I must put it in at least a couple of my videos already, but you are your biggest enemy. The only person you should be competing with is yourself. You don't worry about what other people are doing, because when you're really in it, when you're really wanting to do this, journey and really heal yourself and just figure out, why are you the way you are? What happened? That self-awareness, and just really trying to pick up all the pieces of these shattered soul fragments and pieces of yourself, right? To heal it, put it back together, and the journey is in finding yourself. Happiness is not a destination, it's the journey. It's so true. Because each time you peel back a layer of that false ego, you figure out why. Okay, what's the pattern here? Why am I triggered? Where did it stem from? 90% of it, it's like your inner child plays a huge role in this. And I know a lot of people don't think that, because we as adults may think we're okay, right? Listen, we've all been there. Like, I'm good. Like, that didn't hurt my feelings anymore. Like, I'm over it. Okay, your adult self is over it, but your inner child is not. Now, if time's not a thing, right, that inner child is still very well and alive in a different parallel universe, right? Or timeline, I should say, not universe. But yeah, whatever, it's all the same thing to me, I don't care. But it's very much alive. She's very much, or he, very much with you every day. Now, you as the adult are over it, but again, technically you've just suppressed it so much, but your inner child wants to be acknowledged, and here's the thing, the way you act, you don't even realize it's because your inner child's screaming out for help, to be heard, to be shown love when you lacked it because it wasn't given to you, or abandonment issues that you think aren't there, but your relationships are being affected. You can't have a relationship with someone even though you're doing everything right, and you're just not awake to what the core issue is. And that's where it goes back to this ego. So peeling it layer by layer and really figuring out what stemmed these issues. Okay, that's all part of it. And you know what? The biggest thing too, about the ego, having to face your fear head on. Yourself, like I said, facing yourself, facing your ego, your soul, facing your false ego, false personality. It's not who you are. And you know what? You have to have courage, because courage isn't possible without the fear. I love that saying. It is so true. Courage is not possible without fear. Just like, courage wouldn't be possible without fear. Just switch it around. I don't even know if that made sense. Hopefully it did. Anyways, so that's ego, a very short sum up of the ego, right? Because I don't want this to be too long. Okay, now we get into your instinct, your primitive instinct / intuition, okay? It's your inner knowing. Just like we referenced about the cat, the kitten, how it just knows. It doesn't have anybody, right? The kitten does not have anybody telling it what to do. It does not have any interference with parents, a mom, a dad, siblings. It doesn't go to school, okay? It doesn't have interference with school programming. It doesn't have to do a job, So it doesn't have your coworkers in your face, get in your, it doesn't go to high school. God, high school, All I'm saying is, the cat, right? It doesn't have any interference of an ego, okay? Because its parents were just strictly primitive instinct, all love, compassion, right? So think about it like that. when there is no distractions or interference, right? The kitten can just be itself, be its true nature, its true soul. And it uses that first instinct. We're taught that our intuition and instinct should not be first, but that is absolutely false. Your intuition is your first instinct, the primitive wild. It's in our nature. It's should be our first one that we go to. The other thing about your instinct and intuition, okay? This is huge. You do not want to get it confused with fear, because it can get tricky. It can get messy, okay? Your intuition, you really got to center yourself, especially if you're first starting out with it. Sit back, take a few deep breaths. It's going to be a calm voice. I usually get mine in right around here, because there's still times where shit, if I need an answer, I'm like, okay, no, I don't know. Oh God, which one is it? Ego, shut up. You know, I'm trying to tell my ego to shut up so I can hear. It's an ongoing battle, you know. It gets easier, but hey, there's still times if it's a major decision for me, I'm like, oh, okay, calm down. Find that inner voice. Let it get. You have to be calm, because your ego is going to want to jump in, and it's like, oh shit, no, don't do that. We're too scared. Again, fear, you know? So you always want to take the answer when it's coming from a calm voice inside, a calm feeling inside, okay? If you're just starting out with trying to work with like the, you know, figuring out which is which. I'm telling you, it's always going to be calm. You have to let go of control, especially to stop trying to have it your way. Because that's what I'm saying. The ego is going to want to, what do we say? It's either going to be in attack mode or suppress. It's all fear-based. So it wants you to hang on to control. It's like, no, don't do that. Like, we have to control the situation. No. Let go. I love that saying, like, let go and let God, whatever. You know, again, I call it divine God, Mother God. Literally, the divine is everything to me. All in one big, cute little bundle, right? So yeah, you have to have a level of trust, okay, in your primitive instinct / intuition. You gotta build it. You're gonna build it. It's gonna get easier, but trust is a big part of the process too. And you know, we're gonna all kind of have our moments where we're like, shit, well, I should have listened to myself. Damn it, I knew it, you know. I should have done that, but hey, now you know, though. It's all practice. You can't do anything wrong anyway. You know, there's no wrong choice, just more growth, okay? But definitely building up a level of trust in yourself and in your spiritual team in the divine is going to get you there, you know, smoother sailing, okay? And, you know, that will then allow you to take action when the moment calls. And again, I just went through a bunch of notebooks throughout my whole journey and just wrote pieces of each thing that I had written throughout my journey to kind of rate this. But when you have your level of trust in your, you know, primal instinct / intuition, it will allow you to take action when the moment calls. The when, the where, the why, the how. Okay? But again, intuition is calm. It doesn't need to have control. You know, the flow, it's in the flow. It trusts in itself so much and the divine that you're protected, you're safe. You cannot make wrong choices here, even if the ego says it's a wrong choice or society. No. So that's a little bit of the difference. And I just thought it would be fun video to do, to try to break it down in a way where it is a little easier to understand. So yeah, hopefully the cat thing, the kitten thing helped too, because I don't know, I love cats. And the whole I was journaling about this, and I'm just like, yeah, like it just came to me about the cat, like that doesn't have parent, like the kitten is a great example. So I hope you like that. Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna end it here. So